Hi everybody. The purpose of this video is to kind of compare 4 of my 9mm pistols with each other. Well, mainly to compare 3 of my 9mm pistols to my newest purchase, and that's the Sig P239 in 9mm. And I'll just go right into it. I kind of lined these up by size. I'll start with the barrels. This is a 92FS barrel. As you can see, of the barrels there, it's the biggest one, or the longest one. It's also a little bit bulkier. This one is from a CZ75. This is from a Glock 17, and this is the Sig P239 barrel. So again, it goes from left to right, biggest to smallest, and it could be thicker, or heavier, or wider, what have you. Biggest to smallest, left to right. And then the magazines, this is the Glock 17 magazine. It's a little bit wider than the Beretta magazine. The CZ, and so this is 17 round capacity, 15 and 15. This is the Beretta 92. This one's a CZ75, and these are almost the same width, but this one's got a very small plate at the bottom, and the Beretta's always had that kind of bulky plate. So, hence I said Beretta slightly bigger. And this is the single stack 239 8-round capacity magazine. So it's definitely the smallest one there. Now we go to the slides. The Beretta, as you can see, the open design, so you right away know that's a Beretta. And it's the longest one, and it's also slightly wider. The next one is the P239. I mean, I compared these. And I'm talking about width too, not just length, but width of the slides. This one is I feel I don't have any micrometer or anything like that to measure it, but when I put them together, it's just slightly wider than the Glock 17. So again, the Beretta 92FS, the P239, which is what I'm going to be talking about, the Glock 17, and then the CZ75. And for those of you that don't know anything about the CZ75 or not familiar with it, the CZ75 is the only pistol that I know of, other than CZ copies, that the slide rides inside the frame. So it actually goes inside the frame, not on the outside. I'm not sure if that shows up very well in the camera. I don't have my contacts on, so I can't see the viewfinder very well. Anyway, so that's why this slide is rated as the thinnest. So from the widest to the thinnest, and certainly if I go lengthwise, this one's going to be the shortest, the P239. And that's kind of the reason why I bought the pistols. I was looking for something that was single stack, 9mm, with a hammer. That's the other thing, and I'll get to the pistol in a second. But my criteria is kind of you know, rigid, or whatever you want to call it. I love my Glock, but it's a striker fired pistol, and I wouldn't feel comfortable carrying that thing ready to go, because if I was to reach into wherever I'm keeping it, reaching into my belt or my holster, it would be very easy to accidentally fire it. And I'm just saying, I don't want to, you know, get into the, you know, how you're going to hold a pistol without putting your finger in the trigger and all that. I'm just saying that in the event that I did put my finger in the trigger, that it would fire much easier than a double action style pistol. Now, getting to that, I'm going to move all this stuff out of the way, and this isn't really a video on how to disassemble and assemble the pistol, but since I had them all in pieces, I might as well do that. So here I have the slide, the barrel, and then the spring, and oh, and before I put that, let me show you the frames. I'm sorry. So we have the 239 frame, the Glock 17 frame, and you can see that there is quite a big difference between the sizes. The Beretta, which, by the way, the Beretta, they're almost identical in length. The Beretta and the Glock 17, they're almost identical in length and height. Width, it's pretty similar to. And then the CZ75 is a lot shorter, but that doesn't really make a difference because the you know, you have the barrel, or I'm sorry, the slide. So the frame being shorter doesn't really make much of a difference because the barrel is going to be the length that it is, regardless of the length of the slide. So you can see there's quite a bit of difference with the CZ. So let's just use the CZ. That's the smallest slide I have, and they're actually very similar. Very similar, but again, the 239 is a little bit smaller than the CZ75 frame. So, and then this thing, you're gonna slide the slide onto the frame, and once you get to the back, you can push up on the little clip. I forget what it's called, but and then the lever, and then that's all there is to it. And it's got a decocker, but anyway, and then that's what I wanted to get into. And here's the, you know, just for safety reasons, the gun is unloaded, nothing in the magazine, for those sticklers who are afraid of getting shot through the computer screen. What I had in mind when I bought this pistol was I was looking for something that was single and double action, that was compact, and well, right away when I say single and double action, that means it has to have a hammer, because I'm not aware of any striker fired pistol that, you know, would fit that criteria. So, and I apologize, I'm reassembling the other pistols while I'm doing the video, but so again, I wanted something single stack with a hammer that is single and double action, and I have my CZ75, and I'm assembling that right now so I can show it to you. But the CZ75 is single action, double action, and it does not have a decocker. So I'll get to that one first. So here's my CZ75. So as you can see, well, again, I don't want to go through this with every pistol, but there's no magazine in it, so it's unloaded. But right here, it's in double action mode. You know, you can see the hammer. It'll fire. Also, you know, it'll go. You can fire it in single action mode. I don't like to dry fire my pistol, so I'm not going to. But if I pull the trigger, rest assured that it will fire. So, but it does not have a decocker. So if I was going to carry this, you know, I wouldn't mind carrying it. You know, loaded with a round, you know, with a round chambered, you know, lower the hammer, carefully lower the hammer, and carry it like that, because it takes a significant amount of force to actually fire that, much more force than what would be required of the Glock 17. You know, if the Glock 17 was ready to go, if I had it, you know, locked and loaded. The difference though is, and I'm not 100% sure as to exactly the inner workings of the Glock, but the way I see it, again, it's unloaded, there's no magazine in it. The way I see it, this striker is under tension, and I would not want to carry something that's under tension like that. And I understand it's got the safe trigger with the little safety on it, but I just don't feel comfortable carrying something that's basically under tension. You know, and then again, like I said, reaching over, and again, this one, I don't like to dry fire my pistols, but you can't even take this Glock apart without having to fire it, which is something I really hate about it. But I love the Glock. I like to take it to the range. It's very accurate. But getting back to what I was saying about the trigger, I don't hesitate to dry fire this because it's a necessary step in disassembling it. So it doesn't take much force to do that, but with a basically it's a single action because it's already cocked. Now this one, double action, it takes a lot more force to fire it in double action, so it'd be a lot harder to accidentally discharge the CZ75. Getting to the Beretta, again, it's empty, no magazine. Getting to the Beretta, what I like about the Beretta is that it's also double action, so as you can see the hammer, I'm not going to dry fire it, but the hammer goes back, so it will fire double action, it will fire single action, and it has a really nice trigger. I love, this is the first 9mm Actually, I take that back. I got the CZ75 first, but this was the first 9mm that I wanted, and especially because I was in the Army, and that's what the Army was using at the time. But anyway, getting back to the features on this, I love the fact that it's, you know, single action, double action. It has a decocker also. I didn't mention that. The thing I like about the decocker is if I have it cocked and for whatever reason threat goes away, or for whatever reason that I had it cocked, you know, I can decock it. That's the good thing. The bad thing is if I want to fire it again, I have to flip that switch up and remember to do that. And I mean, it's a tiny step, but and which brings me to the reason why I bought this gun. Again, my criteria was very strict. I wanted a 9mm. As you can see, all these, you know, all these pistols are 9mm. I also have a Star Model B, but I didn't include that in here because it's kind of a more. I bought it more for collecting. But these three pistols are all 9mm. I don't have any problem with all the other calibers, but I picked 9mm because it's pretty much the most common caliber out there, used by the military and a lot of other, you know, militaries all over the world. So the caliber is not going, that round isn't going away anytime soon. And the second reason why I want to stick with 9mm is because I don't want to have to reach around in the dark in an emergency situation and make sure that I'm grabbing the right pistol and the right ammunition for the right gun. I mean, so I have all 9mm, and all I have is 9mm ammunition for pistols. So I don't have to worry about ever mistaking a one round for another in the dark, or, you know, grab the wrong pistol with the wrong ammunition, go to the range. You know, that happens. So I don't have to worry about that. But anyway, so my first criteria, 9mm. That's easy. The second thing was that I wanted single stack. Well, that's easy because they have the M&P Shield. There's a lot of single stack pistols, and I haven't mentioned that I wanted for concealed carry. So I want something that's a little bit slimmer, so I wanted single stack, and that was easy. I did not want a striker fired pistol, again for the reasons I mentioned before about the Glock. I love it, but I just wouldn't want to carry it hot like that. And the Beretta's too bulky. It's not single stack. So all these pistols are eliminated. But what I really like about this pistol is that it's a lot smaller. It's single stack. It's still 9mm. It has a hammer, so it'll fire, as you can see, the hammer. It'll fire in double action, and of course it'll fire in single action. The other thing that's really important about this pistol is that it has a decocker, so I can decock that. But if you notice, the decocker went back up. On the Beretta, when this thing is cocked and I decock it, the decocker stays down. I mean, I can even rack the slide and it's going to stay down, so I won't be able to fire it. I rack the slide, it won't fire. I have to physically move that decocker back up. So this is a decocker, and as soon as I switch it, it turns into a safety. So it's a decocker and a safety. So that's a little, for the range and all that, it's fine, but maybe it wouldn't be great for an emergency situation where, you know, you're panicking and you forgot that you have it on safety. So you have the safety on. So this thing doesn't have a safety, and that's what I like about it. You know, it's got the and I can't remember what this is called, to lock the slide back, and then you know, you can release it. It's got the takedown lever there, but the decocker is only a decocker. So if I decock that, it goes back up, so it's ready to fire in double action always. So let's say in a situation where, you know, or let's say I'm getting ready to go out and I put the magazine in and I chamber around and I decock it. I can carry it around like that and feel confident, because I know that this trigger pull is a lot more than, like I said, on this Glock, where it doesn't take much to pull this trigger. It takes a lot more to do this double action trigger. So, and I'm not one of those people that thinks that the force that it is required to pull the trigger in a life and death situation is going to matter to you. I don't care if you had a 100-pound trigger on there. If you are ready to fire that pistol, it's going to fire, regardless of how difficult it is to pull the trigger. But anyway, that's my 2 cents on the reasons why I got the P239. Again, single stack, 9mm, has a hammer, does single and double action, and it has a decocker only, so I can carry it without putting it on safe, and never have to worry about it not firing. And to be honest with you, I just purchased this pistol, so I haven't taken it to the range yet. But as long as I can hit something 7 yards in front of me, that's all I care about. And because this is going to be more for self-defense, if I decide to carry it. The rest of these are just guns that I take to the range, and of course, you know, I'd use them for self-defense if someone was to enter my home, but I don't think I would be carrying these around. They're just too bulky. So anyway, that's my whatever you want to call it, my info on my 239.